This is Jared's garage, or Garage Gerard, with my temporary sandblasting cabin, the frame from a Mobylette AV92 that I am renovating, my outside working table, and all the tooling inside needed to be Garage Gerard, isn't it? A few weeks ago I got a second-hand relay box, Boite de relais en français, from Le Solex in France. Yesterday I took apart this one, that's the first one, which was originally mounted on my Mobylette AV92. I rebuilt it yesterday. Today I want to take apart this one, and I want you to see how that goes. Take off this circlip, take off this one. If you don't have this pneumatic tool, then you will need to use a ratchet, and you will need to block this in a wrench. You can. So we need to check that it turns left hand. This oil seal is leaking. You can renew it without opening the relay box. You simply take off the front sprocket and flip this out with a screwdriver and tap in a new one. Right now, although I have a manual in French, I'm going to make a few pictures so that later I know from what side these screws are entering this relay box, just like that. And like that. And I will continue making photographs the whole time to be absolutely sure that I rebuilt this relay box in the same way as it was meant by Mobylettes when they built it. I flipped the relay box over, and right now we are going to remove this pulley. Okay, that's enough. Due to inertia, when you work with an air-powered tool, you don't need to block this severely. We leave it on. There is a strong spring behind this pulley, like that. So we don't want the complete set to jump off when this is unblocked. To avoid any risk of jumping of these like that. Okay. I made this one specially for this operation. It drops in here and enables to pull off this pulley. The other half is also placed. First you attach the lower one. I had to make this puller because all other methods failed. Even with heat I could not pull the pulley loose. Okay, now this one. Okay, now I clamped both and we are ready to make this, to loosen well. I removed the top pulley and there is one part that you really don't want to lose, and that's this clavette demi-lune. So we put it over there. Then we have the spring, which is a little bit rusty, which doesn't matter, but we can de-rust it before. Then we have this part, take it off. Then we have a circlips. Okay, well, now we can unbolt all these bolts and then try to split the box in two. I mark the sides where the bolt is starting, which makes it a little bit easier when I remount it. Okay. They have different lengths, so take care when rebuilding the box. Okay, well, we need to take off this part and leave all the gears in this part as much as possible. So what I do is I place this in my specially drilled holes, and I will take something to heat the parts where there are bearings, which is here and there. This is not a bearing. but here and there I need to heat until 80 degrees approximately these parts, and then I can split the box. Well, to prevent the rubber from this oil seal to be overheated by a flame or by my electric heater, I took a piece of aluminium tubing, put it on there, and now I can start overheating, and I will check my temperature with this simple thing. Well, it's not simple, but cheap thing, until 80 degrees. Since 80 degrees is quite hot on a metal surface, I put some gloves on. Let's check. Around 65. I'm shifting to a gas heater because it doesn't go quick enough. Okay, now we need to be as quick as possible. There are some gaps that you can use to force. Okay, but you need to do that on several sides at the same time, like that. Okay, that goes well. Not what I meant. So where is my plastic hammer? Now you need to take care that you don't lose any information considering rings. There. Okay. This one can slide freely. This one needs to go. That's the one. It opened under. This bearing went, but that bearing didn't, and that's a problem. That's a problem. I don't want to force. I don't like this, but this is leather which will protect. A little bit more to the side. That's better. A few rings over here. Ah, this bearing came out also. Well, that's not so much of a problem. Good. This doesn't sound. Maybe the bearing is dirty, so we'll tap out this one too. happens, and that came from this side over there. So put this away, a little bit further away. He comes. Good. Well, this bearing doesn't sound too fantastic, but that can be dirt. So now we need to clean everything, especially the surfaces of both carter halves, and then the bearings and so on. When I got the relay box, I opened it here and drained the oil. There was no more oil in it. Then I filled up almost entirely the relay box with lamp oil, which is a greasy type of oil, but and by shaking I mobilized all dirt and drained it. That I did twice, I think, and then I filled it with washing benzene, essence de nettoyage, which you use for clothing. That will not dissolve any rubbers. Don't use acetone, don't use thinner, only use these two products to clean generally all parts, all automotive and motorcycle parts. So now we are going to clean the inside with a brush and washing benzene. When you are working with these liquids, don't use latex gloves, but nitrile is okay, nitrile butyl is okay, but not latex because it will dissolve. I have an ultrasonic cleaner which I use to clean small parts, but that sounds better already. I cleaned this with a brush already, but okay. Now smaller parts. So now I rinsed all parts, and now I can check the bearing. I will rinse this one more time with the pistol. Now I'm going to inspect the bearings. They are extremely dry and oilless now, so every imperfection can be heard and felt, but it sounds okay. Once it will be oiled, it will be perfect. don't over exaggerate this air pressure test. Well, then I have two bearings over here. Sounds good. No play. Almost no play. Okay. Clean and correct. And then there is one more bearing over here. Can you see that? No. One more bearing over here, but I do it with extreme care because there are these small bolts inside and I don't want to lose them. They are enclosed by this sprocket, but a few dropped out, which is not a problem when you place them back before mounting the thing. Yeah, I will give this a blow with benzene. There are 4 bolts over here and I have 3 over there and 1 here. I'll take them out like that. Okay, let's clean that with benzene. Sounds good. Good to go. Hi guys, this is day 2 for the Boite de relais repair. Yesterday it was Sunday and I needed to stop earlier than normal, but today we are going to finish this job. Practically all manuals can be found at Tobeck online, which shows the interior of the Boite de relais and also how to dismount it. It's all in French. My French is better than my English, so for me it wasn't a problem, but to enable people from other countries to dismount and mount a Boite de relais, I made this video in English. Yesterday when we dismounted the Boite de relais, we started with the pulley. Right now we are going to finish with the pulley, so that means that the side which will hold the front sprocket is the side that I will put down, and then we will build it on from here. These are 2 old crankshaft bearings, but you can do this trick with any old bearing. In that way you can check if you need any washers to improve the fitting in a carter or a linkage box, Boite de relais. I first clean them to degrease them. The inside, the easiest way to do the inside is with a Dremel. If you don't have this, or even if you don't have a Dremel, you can use this in a normal drill, and you will be able to do this job also nicely. the larger the temperature difference between the bearings and the carters, the easier it will fit together. It will slip together. So what I did tonight was put the axles in the deep freezer, and I will keep it there until I have heated the carter halves. I will not yet oil the parts that will be joined. I will do that later, after that I have mounted the bearings, to prevent any fumes from coming off. You really need to prepare everything, because all three axles have to be mounted more or less at the same time. So I have placed this stable on a few filler blocks, and there is a hole in my table that enables this axle to enter without any problem. You only need to heat these two places. And again, we will limit ourselves to about 80 degrees. Let's check. 60. Okay, it's hot now. This needs to slip in there, but I have this. Yes. Oh shit. Oops. Good. Okay, that is very well. The bearing entered without any problem. Now I can put it in these two holes. And I have another axle that should be placed, which really enters with ease now because of the cold of the axle and the heat of this body. Good. I will first degrease with acetone both carter faces. I will apply it over here. This is an incredible chemical. Probably this tube is at least 30 years old and it's still very okay. Okay, this will take some time. Okay, the rubber joint has been applied evenly. Don't forget 1 square millimeter. Everywhere there should be some of this paste. This inner part of the bearing will drop on that ring, this axle, and this outer part of the bearing will drop in this. So we need to heat this ring and we need to heat this outside. go for it. Ooh, that's hot on my hands. Okay. Good. This should be parallel, that's very important. Okay. Everything is turning correctly. It's short. Now these markings that I made yesterday are handy, because now I don't need to think about yes, here is the longer one probably. For the moment, this is already not bad. This works correctly, yes. Okay. Well, that's it. Well, this is the sequence. First, this circlip. Okay, that's okay. To prevent any rusting in the future, I will apply some grease. Squeezing thing, this one. Ooh. Okay. Good. Well, then we have this tiny clavette. Put that with the flat part to the top. I've put some masking tape on these plastic covers, and I will mask the rest of the relay box with a cloth like that. Okay. Especially with metallic paint, you need to apply very thin layers. This can is almost empty. I wanted to renew this graisseur, greasing nipple, but the smallest I got is M5 and this is M4, also according to the manual. So I will need to refit the old one, which was still operable, so that's not so much of a problem. And I can order them later with another occasion. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you have found that this is a useful video. Goodbye.